It's called Serial Killer, a serial killer who only kills people who eat cereal.
Here is our list of the top 10 best breakfast cereals you need to try. Cereal is great, be it for breakfast or an evening snack. So let's take a look at the best of the best.
Cereal. You're packing cereal?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
I've eaten Cinnamon Toast Crunch for my last 6 meals.
For many people, the list of their favorite breakfast cereals begins and ends with Cinnamon Toast Crunch. That stance is extremely difficult to argue with, and we don't blame them for thinking that. If you have a sturdy sweet tooth and you can stand a generous amount of cinnamon, this cereal really could be the best possible thing you could have for breakfast, or at any moment of the day for that matter. Sure, it's not the healthiest cereal for you, but it just tastes so good. While Cinnamon Toast Crunch can be criticized for getting soggy quickly in milk, it's not that big of an issue because it still tastes really good even when it's a little bit on the mushy side.
It's just a little slimy. It's still good. It's still good.
Plus, whenever you finish eating the cereal, you will have a bowl of milk that will taste amazingly good. No other cereal on the planet leaves behind such tasty milk as Cinnamon Toast Crunch does. In fact, Cinnamilk was created to replicate the taste of a bowl of milk after the Cinnamon Toast Crunch is all gone. The inventors intended for this cereal to taste like cinnamon toast, and while they didn't accomplish that goal exactly, this cereal is still a definite win and one of the most popular breakfast cereals in stores today.
Everyone happy with their cereal?
Froot Loops.
And Toucan Sam. Froot Loops.
Here comes another cereal brand with a famous slogan and mascot, Froot Loops. With or without milk, Froot Loops are always a pleasure to eat. They're sweet, but not too sweet or sickly. The texture and feel provide the perfect amount of crunch, which then gently melts in your mouth. The fruity flavors are a real joy and treat for a breakfast cereal. Plus, they're so colorful, it's sure to brighten up your morning. The colors, which include orange, lime green, red, yellow, blue, and purple, are vibrant and visually pleasing. There is, however, an interesting thing about Froot Loops and their colors that will make you think of this cereal a bit differently in the future. While your brain may tell you each color has its own unique flavor, that's apparently not the case. It turns out that every loop tastes exactly the same, from the orange that you may believe tastes like orange juice to the purple that you may believe is grape flavored.
If it's all the same to you!
I guess Toucan Sam, the cereal's mascot since 1963, and the gang tried to warn us by purposely misspelling the word fruit, but oh well. Despite that disappointment, it's still going to be difficult to pass up a bowl of Froot Loops. Your brain will still tell you the loops taste different, and you might as well roll with that because the truth is too difficult to accept.
That is not true!
Lucky Charms.
Her first wish was for an all-marshmallow box of Lucky Charms.
This toasted oat cereal with colorful marshmallows has been a breakfast favorite since the early 1960s. A cereal developer came up with the idea for Lucky Charms after experimenting with different combinations of cereals and candies. That sounds like a dream job we all want. One of the combinations that inspired them was a mix of Cheerios and marshmallow circus peanuts. Lucky Charms was the first cereal to include marshmallows and has since spawned a number of other brands that include colorful marshmallow shapes. The original marshmallow charm lineup was pink hearts, yellow moons, orange stars, and green clovers. Blue diamonds were added in the 1970s, and over the years, a number of shapes were added and discontinued. These were not random changes, however. General Mills, the company that makes the cereal, found out through years of market research that changing the marshmallow shapes once in a while led to a noticeable increase in cereal sales.
Yes, Daryl, the sales department makes sales. Good.
This revelation motivated the company to make regular changes to Lucky Charms, and everything from hourglass to unicorn shapes have been a part of the colorful Lucky Charms marshmallow mix. In keeping with the Lucky Charms theme, a leprechaun named Lucky was chosen as the mascot, who was fond of saying,
"They're magically delicious."
They are delicious, but even though they're made from oats, we know they're not all that nutritious. This hasn't eroded their popularity one bit, and Lucky Charms remain a big favorite for all cereal lovers.
My goodness, they're my favorite!
Reese's Puffs. While most cereals on our list have been around for many years, if not decades, the next entry doesn't have such a long history. Reese's Puffs cereal is a relatively new kid on the block. It debuted in 1994, and its advertising campaign marketed it as a candy you can eat for breakfast, which leaned on the popularity of Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. That marketing strategy paid off big time because, let's be honest, we all love the idea of being able to eat candy for breakfast without any guilt, right?
We want candy! We want candy!
While Reese's Puffs cereal is arguably not as delicious or iconic as Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, it's still pretty darn good. Half of the puffs have a chocolatey taste, while the other half have a peanut butter taste. Each spoonful is enjoyable from the first to the very last bite. However, if you're on any type of diet, you might reconsider eating Reese's Puffs. It has so much sugar in it that you can make a successful argument about why you shouldn't be eating it at all. But when you want a special breakfast, or you're just having a sneaky cheat day, then Reese's Puffs is the best choice for breakfast.
Good morning, subjects. What's for breakfast?
Apple Jacks.
A is for apple. J is for Jacks.
Apple Jacks cereal has become a staple breakfast cereal in many households and one of the most popular cereals across the country. Dating back to the mid-1960s, when a lowly intern invented it for cereal giants Kellogg's, Apple Jacks quickly became a hit and a much-needed option for the Kellogg's brand. No matter if you're young or old, you will appreciate a bowl of Apple Jacks. This cereal balances the right amount of apple flavoring and the right amount of cinnamon to make a pleasant breakfast option. The rings are made with 3 different grains and a wide variety of vitamins, which adds a bit of wholesomeness to each bowl. When shopping for Apple Jacks, never settle for the generic brand. No matter how hard the other brands try, they can never master the perfect flavor balance like Kellogg's has been able to do.
You are no match for our kung fu.
Additionally, make sure you don't accidentally pick up a box of Apple Jacks with marshmallow. While many cereal brands like to try variations of their cereals, most of them actually work very well, and in some cases are better than the original. However, with Apple Jacks marshmallow, sticking to the regular kind might be best.
We stick it to the man.
Stick it to the man?
Frosted Mini Wheats.
I had given the kids some frosted mini wheats.
If you want to be full after breakfast in order to tackle the day ahead of you, a big bowl of Frosted Mini Wheats will do the trick nicely. This cereal boasts 11 individual layers, 10 layers of 100% whole wheat, and 1 layer of sweet frosting. It's also high in fiber and supplies a complete day's worth of iron and folic acid, which are all things needed to help you feel strong for the day ahead. If it's your first time eating Frosted Mini Wheats, we are certain you will not only enjoy them, but instantly fall in love with them.
You love it? I love it. I absolutely love it.
As with other cereals, there is a fun and special way to eat this cereal. Frosted Mini Wheats fans have the method of eating this cereal down to an art form. The trick is to position each square in your mouth so that the frosting hits your tongue when you bite down. That way, the yumminess is amplified with each bite you take. While you can find unfrosted Mini Wheats if you look hard enough, stick with the frosted version. It's that one layer of frosting that makes all the difference. There are, of course, other versions of Mini Wheats, such as chocolate, berries, blueberry, strawberry, and even pumpkin spice around the holidays. So whatever variety you go for, Frosted Mini Wheats is a great choice for a great breakfast.
Great breakfast.
Protein, go for it.
Honey Bunches of Oats.
Say, it's Honey Bunches of Oats.
While most entries on this list are well-known brands that have been staples of the breakfast table for generations, our next entry on our list has been a bit of a late bloomer, but it really started to attract a big fan base in recent years, especially with changing diets and tastes. If you are a type of person who enjoys complex foods with a variety of different flavors and features at the same time, Honey Bunches of Oats is the cereal you should go for each morning. This cereal took over 3 years to develop, but it was well worth the wait.
Is this really worth it?
A mix of whole grain wheat, corn, rolled oats, rice, and barley flour form the base of the cereal, then sweetened with honey and molasses. While it sounds complicated, it all blends together so perfectly, it's difficult to think back to a time when this cereal didn't exist. What's also cool is there are over a dozen varieties of Honey Bunches of Oats. The honey roasted version is the original, but many of the others are well worth your hard-earned money, including the Apple Caramel Crunch and the Pecan and Maple Brown Sugar.
Say it's Honey Bunches of Oats.
Frosted Flakes.
And we're out of Frosted Flakes.
They're great. The infamous slogan from this popular breakfast cereal wasn't a lie. When Tony the Tiger roars about just how great Frosted Flakes are, we should all listen, as they are just that. Made by Kellogg's as an alternative version of their popular Corn Flakes, Frosted Flakes, or Frosties, hit the supermarket shelves in the early 1950s and became an instant hit. Decades later, this cereal is still one of the most popular cereals on the market today. The main reason for it is that Frosted Flakes are very simple. Rather than having cereal clusters, marshmallows, fruit, or even raisins,
Raisins!
Frosted Flakes keep things simple with just flakes of corn and a dusting of sugar. That's it, and that's all there needs to be. They're delicious with a perfect balance of sweetness that cereal needs without being too sugary. On the surface, they might look like a regular, boring breakfast, but after only a bite, it's easy to see that there's so much more than that. Not only are Frosted Flakes still one of the best cereals, but they also have one of the best mascots. Tony the Tiger has been on the boxes since Frosted Flakes first started. But as beloved as he is today, he wasn't actually the company's first choice. Tony beat out Katie the Kangaroo, Elmo the Elephant, and Newt the New to become the face of Frosted Flakes. And we're pretty glad that he did.
Bring out the tigers!
Mighty, mighty tiger.
Cheerios.
There's a message in my alphabet. It says, ooh.
Peter, those are Cheerios.
The next entry on our list has been a popular choice for a lot of people for decades, and that's Cheerios. Originally, Cheerios were known as Cheerios back when the cereal debuted in 1941. It wasn't until 1945 that it changed to the name we know today, and that was only due to a huge legal fight with Quaker Oats. Cheerios is a perfectly acceptable breakfast cereal. It's hearty enough that it will fill you up and start your morning off right. It also has a notable crunch that holds up well in milk and is relatively healthy, especially compared to most sugar-laden cereals.
That's too much sugar.
However, a lot of people find the humble Cheerio a little dull and safe. Well, never fear, as Cheerios has you covered. While they do have many varieties of their cereal, we think that the best version is Honey Nut Cheerios. It just seems like things can't get better than that. The nutty flavor of almonds gives Honey Nut Cheerios a richness that other competitors lack. To add a cherry on top, the honey adds the right amount of sweetness to draw you in, and it causes each spoonful to be pleasurable.
This food is amazing.
It is good. So good.
Cap'n Crunch.
Yeah. Cap'n Crunch with Crunch Berries. Move on.
Cap'n Crunch is a sweetened corn and oat breakfast cereal created in the early 1960s by the Quaker Oats Company. The idea actually came about when an employee was inspired by their grandma's recipe of brown sugar and butter served over rice. A few changes and tweaks, and Cap'n Crunch was born. While many people think that Cap'n Crunch is more of a kid's cereal, especially with their logo and kid-friendly mascots, we all have a guilty pleasure for the Crunch, and it is one of the most popular breakfast cereals for both kids and adults alike. It even has quite a following, with websites devoted to all things Crunch.
Crunchy and creamy.
While the original Cap'n Crunch is still a great cereal, there is actually another version on the market that may actually be even better than the original, and that's Cap'n Crunch Berries. Crunch Berries has all the yumminess of the original Cap'n Crunch, but with fruity and equally crunchy pieces added to the party. And you can actually taste individual flavors in this cereal. Whatever version of this breakfast cereal you enjoy, Cap'n Crunch is still many people's go-to choice when it comes to breakfast.
Gary, I had Cap'n Crunch for breakfast. The roof of my mouth is in shreds.
Got a favorite missing from this list? Let us know in the comments below. And stick around, tap or click on another great video, hit that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell.